Hello, everybody. It's Vincent Bourne here. I'm live on Make Change Happen and also courtesy of Yellow Vest Ireland. We're broadcasting live on their Facebook page as well. Today, I'm going to talk to you quickly about what happened today in Balbriggan, North County, Dublin, with regards to Christine McTiernan and her beauty salon, C&N Beauty. And Christine will be joining me now momentarily. But first, I just want to say to you, one, it's been a bizarre couple of days, really, ever since Christine posted this up on her Facebook page. That was her intention to reopen in contravention to the guidelines of the so-called lockdown, for want of a better phrase. Now, what I've been doing is, of course, as many of you know, I talk about this little blue book quite a bit, but I also have many other books on the Constitution, and here's one here for you. And I have some little screen snips from that and another couple of books that I'd just like to show you as well. But I'm going to ask Christine to join me now, and I want to talk to her and get her take on how she felt about how things went today. She was arrested and taken to Swords Court and processed through that. So Christine, if you come in there now and join me. Great. Everybody can see and hear you now, Christine. So first of all, Christine, you decided to do this yourself a few days back. So I think it was last Friday or something. You said you posted it on your Facebook.
That's
account.
right.
What was going through your mind at the time when you did that? Like, what was it that drove you to do that?
It was just survival. It was to pay the bills.
Right.
I literally got fed up of the amount of bills coming in and the rent being due and the whole lot, and I just needed to pay them. So
Yeah,
I just decided that was it. It was kind of, I had come to the end of my tether, and I just kind of said, no, I need to pay them. I need to get the salon open to pay the bills.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure.
So I decided
to
post it then.
In the same position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I decided then to post it. I decided to post it and on my page on Facebook, and it just took off from there. And everybody just started liking it, and it was quite shocked at the amount of support out there. You know, I'm not the only one that feels like that.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, you captured. It seems you captured the imagination and the attention of the entire nation, because your videos and your story has gone absolutely viral all over Ireland. I think the views on your situation to date are probably approaching 500,000 easily, and maybe more. The interactions on social media, if you do a search on your name and Google Trends, etc., you can see everybody is talking about C&N Beauty and Christine McTiernan. So, yeah, I know it's weird. And you see, when you come from, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but when you come from obscurity, all of a sudden to have all the lights of public attention focused on you, it's not an easy place to be. I mean, you know, we've been through that before ourselves, and Ben and others. So, essentially, you then you didn't seek support from anybody as such. You said you were doing this on your own. Some people did approach you. They said they'd try and, I suppose it's help you not get screwed over, essentially, and maybe to help you understand what may come your way. Do you want to just talk about some of the assistance you were given?
Yes. I did this off my own back. This was put on my page, and as I said, I just thought it would have been shared among a few friends, and it just escalated from there. So like, nobody influenced me to do this. This was something I did for me, for my bills, from my salon. So no, there was nobody, you know, influenced me to do anything. You know, I did this. This was me. This was me kind of saying I have to do something for my business. So the only way I could do this is to actually open the business. You know, and that's exactly what I did.
And that's very important. And I have the notice that you had in your shop window here, and I'm going to read a little bit of it here. My name is Christine McTiernan, as head of a family which holds the highest protection under the Constitution, which under Article 41.1.1 reads as follows. The state recognises the family as the natural, primary and fundamental unit group of society, and as a moral institution possessing inalienable and imprescriptible rights, antecedent and superior to all positive law. And you go on there, you say why it's essential for you to do what you did. You were doing this for your family alone. Now, I have some screen grabs there that I'm just going to put up now, just to give people a taste of. This is from a book. Again, I like to read, and I like people to be aware that this, your position is very clear, I think, under the Constitution. I have a highlighted section there. Justice is being administered. I'll just say this is the book this is from. This is Kelly, The Irish Constitution, 5th edition. G.W. Hogan, White, Kenny, and Walsh. These are all, anybody who knows, these are very well-respected names when it comes to constitutional law. Justice is being administered under our own constitution, wherein very definitely the family is recognized as a fundamental unit group of society and as a moral institution with imprescriptible rights. This theory will have to be reconsidered under the new light because no inconsistent doctrine of the old courts of equity can prevail against the principles of the Constitution. Now, I see Ben is in the conversation here as well, and I'm sure Ben will be able to throw a little bit more light on what that exact phrase means. Ben, do you want to maybe come in on that there? Oh, your mic is still muted.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Christine.
Hi, yeah.
Good, and congratulations on today and yesterday. Fair play to you. As I said to you before, and I don't mean disrespect by any of this, but for a woman not much over 4 foot in stature to take on the battle when all big men in Ireland, none of them are doing it. Gym owners, I see them all, bodybuilders, huge big men, and not one of them standing up against the tyranny in the country. So first of all, I just want to say congratulations on that. First of all, you read from the book there, Vincent, and obviously Hogan is one of them that springs to mind because Hogan was a constitutional expert. He was one of the youngest judges of the Supreme Court, and he is now sitting in the European Court of Justice.
Can you explain that last line on that, Ben? Doctrines of the old courts of equity can prevail against the principles of the Constitution.
Does it say can prevail?
Well, that's what they're saying there.
All right. Well, I'm not sure what they're actually trying to say there, but what they do is they've come, and I'm not sure, I don't know if I've even read that book, but what they're saying, at least first of all, they say that, they recognize the family as being some sort of moral institution. And, they're saying that the courts of equity can prevail against that. I presume what they mean is prevail to hold it up. I don't mean hoping that not.
Oh, yeah. Well, from further reading in and around that chapter, it says quite definitely that. It also means like equity as in succession, title, property, all of that stuff can be passed through, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But these have to do with rights antecedent and superior to the Constitution. You see, these were rights, in other words, that the Constitution doesn't grant anybody any rights. It merely recognizes that Christine, for example, has this right. Here's another one here I'll just put up with you. This is the hierarchy of constitutional rights. I think this is very important. Again, that's from this book again here as well, the Kelly and the Irish Constitution. Side by side with the doctrine of harmonious interpretation and needing to be reconciled with it, there emerged the judicial view that some articles of the Constitution are more important than others and must, in case of conflict, take priority over them. Under the old Constitution and in early life of the present Constitution, the courts tended to reject any such notion. Now, basically, I'll continue here. The Constitution does not itself rank the rights and obligations it provides for, nor does it tell us how to define any hierarchy. The obligation of a court is to uphold all the provisions of the Constitution. Yeah. Now, again,
I agree with that, Vincent. So, like, whether one article is more important than the other, yes, I agree. Some articles are far more important than the other. That's why we always sort of focus on Article 41.11, because that is one of the most important articles in the Constitution for us, because we are all family, and so one of the reasons why I say it is the most important is that if there's unjust laws or unjust statutes or statutes that's affecting you and your family and interfering on some of your inalienable rights, well, then it says that you basically can ignore them because your rights are higher, your rights are superior to any positive law. And the reason that that's very important is simply this, because the writers of the Constitution always knew that corporate governments, when they when they were always taking away fundamental rights and infringing on rights, that they could only do it through positive law. So if it was emergency law or wartime or whatever it might be, they could always infringe on everybody's rights. But the only way that can manifest itself is through positive law. And that's why this was enshrined in the Constitution. It's not given by the Constitution, the rights. No. The rights go back to time immemorial. But what it is was rights that were recognized in the Constitution as you possessing those rights, and that they were superior to all positive law. So what Gardaí did today was arrested you pursuant to positive law. Now, having spoken to some of the Gardaí today, it seems to me they're totally misinformed about what's going on and what law and what their rights are and what their oath of office is and stuff like that. And it's got to such a stage now that they don't care. That's what it appears to me. They don't care because they know that the courts will protect them in any event. And that's a very dangerous, slippery road for us to go down, because you were exercising the right to basically feed your family. That was the right that you were exercising today, provide for your family. That's a fundamental right. And they said, no, positive law trumps that right. Here we are, and we're arresting you. And that's simply wrong.
And I just want to bring Christine back in there again on this. Christine, can you please tell us how were you treated today? I mean, were you treated okay when they arrested you?
Yeah,
and how did that go down?
No,
when you were in the salon, maybe we take it from when they came in the salon to you. What happened?
Okay, yeah, I was in the salon. They came in and they spoke to me for a few minutes, and then I was arrested. I was taken then to the Garda station in Balbriggan, and then I was taken from there then to the court in Swords.
Okay, and what about legal representation?
I had a solicitor there waiting for me.
Okay, and when you were down in the Garda station, they treated you okay? You got a cup of tea, I take it, and a few biscuits?
I did indeed, yep. They looked after me really well.
No, that's good to hear. It's good to hear that, because
they were very, very respectful. I don't want
people going against a good Gardaí, because there are plenty of good Gardaí out there. A lot of them are just... Yeah. As Ben would say, there's a lot of them that they don't seem to understand or have this understanding of the Constitution. I mean, and I'm sure you'll admit you didn't necessarily have this understanding of the Constitution prior to this, but you're getting it now, I take it.
Yes, absolutely, I am.
This is one here I'm just going to put up on screen. This is from Gilla Macmillan, Annotated Constitution of Ireland. This is one many people have asked me about. It was the stated wish of the chief draftsman of the Constitution, Mr. Eamon de Valera, that the courts should construe the Constitution liberally. Mr. de Valera was concerned lest the courts would adopt a strictly legalistic view of the Constitution, thereby limiting its scope. And I think that's a very important thing for us to realize, that the idea of the Constitution is to be construed liberally. In other words, on behalf of we the people, that it's not to hold us down. Now, Christine, you opened your business initially. I walked in, I saw it. You had everything clean and separated, and there was masks and screens, all safety precautions. That, quite honestly, I haven't seen in other businesses that are open and deemed to be essential for whatever reason, and yet yours is not. But you seem to have even more measures in place than they did.
We have a very, very high standard of safety in the salon, and we follow them to the HSE, to their guidelines. And so it is very, very safe to be in the salon. I mean, there's screens up, there's PPE here, there's hand sanitizers from in the hallway from before you even come into the salon. So, I mean, we have followed every protocol that we have been asked to do by the HSE.
And your staff, they wear gloves and PPE as well when they're dealing with people, is that true?
Absolutely full, yeah. That's it. They wear the masks, gloves, aprons, and they also have screens as well. So the reception desk has screens as well. There's hand sanitizers and every station. So it's, it is fully sanitized in the salon, and it's done every single time someone comes in or out of the salon.
Okay, and then the supporters that showed up for you today, I mean, I believe there was a little bit of trouble with some of them. Some people were arrested, which is unfortunate, of course, but the support overall in general, I mean, I know there was a fairly large contingency of Gardaí were brought into Balbriggan, it would seem, today, but they blocked both ends of the town by the looks of things. They were preventing people even from walking through. I mean, even I, as a local, I was asked, they basically insisted I leave the area, and then as I was leaving the area, I was pulled over again. and I was carrying a bullhorn on my shoulder, and I was told I was carrying the bullhorn suspiciously. So, you know, some crazy things happened today as well. But I didn't want to make the issue about me today, so I said to myself, now I'll just continue on my merry way. The job is done as far as I can tell. The people are aware this is going on, so I didn't want to make this about me, because it's not about me. This is about you. This is about you, and it's about your rights as a family and everyone's rights. I mean, I want to make people understand that while you might have been doing this for your own family, on a different level, you're not. You're actually representing John and Jane Doe here, the people, we the people of Éire, because I think that's why you've captured the heart of the nation here in this, particularly because who else can do this? Who else can show to the people how easy it is for tyranny to reign until somebody stands up, until somebody says, no, this far and no further, which, you know, the support from people today, how did you feel about that, the support that you got?
The support has been unbelievable. It's been shocking now, I have to say. I was never expecting this kind of support from people. And they have been absolutely amazing, the people of Ireland, and further afield. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are contacting me from Australia, from Canada, you know, all over. Like, the support has been really, really amazing. And I am so grateful to everybody for their support.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. How is your family doing now? I mean, how are they feeling now? Were they a bit shocked to see Mammy get
They're glad that I knew. Yeah, they were happy when I walked out of court today. And they have been absolutely amazing. I have a great family. I really, really do. And they are fully supportive of me. You know, they've given me the backing all the way. And they've been brilliant. They've been there with me every step of the way. And
then I believe you were essentially, well, I won't say how you feel about it. I'll ask you. Yeah, you signed a declaration to what today? To not open
to say that, to not open the salon again. Yeah, that's what I signed today, to say that I wouldn't open the salon again.
How did you feel about having to sign that?
I had to sign it. That was the case. I just had to sign it. It was either that or they were going to lock me up until God knows when, until whatever a court date came available. So I wasn't really kind of given the choice, if you like. I was kind of told, it's, you know, you sign it and that's it, and you don't break it.
Yeah,
or you will get locked up.
The common phraseology is that they ask you to sign an undertaking until the court case. So that's why I don't really want to ask you too much about that. I don't potentially want to cause any issues there for you. Now, your daughter established a GoFundMe, which I would encourage everybody to look at in order to help out the family in the meantime, because, you know, again, now that I'm assuming you opened in desperation. You've said that it was, so I accept that. I understand that. And, you know, there's a GoFundMe out there asking people, well, listen, if you can help this family, please do so. And I know you might feel a bit embarrassed about it, or a bit, you know, but I think it's very important. One, it lets people show you that they do actually care. And even if it's only a €20 here, a €10 here, a 50 or 100, whatever it is, or look, anybody who's a 1,000, but feel free to donate it. But it's to support and help the family, because these are tough, hard times, folks. And if we can't help and support each other, well, then what's the point, right? So other than that, Christine, I suppose the best thing to do is say, well, I'm assuming you'll keep everybody posted as things progress.
Yes, I will indeed. Yep, I will indeed. I will keep everybody informed as to what's happening and things like that. You know, but I'm very, 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 very grateful for their support.
Yeah, which is very important. And so you won't be opening again. So until this hearing has happened and whatever determination is made, then what would you say? And again, I don't want to trap you here. I'm just trying to ask you straight. If other businesses have taken inspiration from this, I see there's a large group down in Tralee apparently who are planning to do it. And what about if there's other businesses? You know, I'm actually going to withdraw that question. I'm not going to ask you about other businesses, because I'll make the statement. There's plenty of businesses, it seems, are planning on following suit.
Yes.
That these are interesting times, folks, and we should keep an eye on that. Sorry, there was something that was flashed on the screen there. I don't know if it was a question. Maybe big controller there can put that up again for us. Plenty of well wishers coming up, of course, and you know, that's great to see. I think it was 2 back. If you can just go back there to the controller on the stream. But Pardon me.
It was about mental health.
Thank you. That's what it was. It was mental health. This is a thing I think people might have got confused about. Like, whereas somebody deemed your service was not essential. One, it's essential for you to have as a family to feed your family. Secondly, it's not just getting your nails done. I mean, women don't go to the hairdressers to just get their hair done. I know that. Everybody knows that. Most people know. Same with guys. We don't just go to the pub to drink a pint. You know, it's all about mental health. I mean, you sit there, you talk about your one down the street, and did you hear what Mary said, and the whole lot, and it's community, it's interaction. That's the key. I mean, that's what keeps us healthy as a nation, our interaction with one another.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you know, as people would say to me, that hour in the salon, it just feels normal. It's normality just for that hour. Do you know what I mean? And that's what people crave. It's to feel that again, which they haven't felt in such a long time. And that's what we need. We need to get back to normal. We need to feel normal. And life has to start living again.
Yeah.
You know, or people's mental health will suffer because of this.
No, there's no doubt it is. I don't know if you're aware of the suicide figures of late, but
I've heard they're quite high.
I'm not going to quote them, because if I quote them and if I'm incorrect, we'll get censored or some description. So all I'm going to say is from my understanding is the suicide figures are horrendous and rising. My heart absolutely bleeds for anybody like that. Businesses, absolutely, of course, Christine, how are they going to come back from this? I mean, if businesses are closing left, right, and center, which they are, and they're not going to be able to reopen, you know, what's going to be left? I mean, the big corporations all seem to be able to open. It seems to be the little guy, the small business, is being absolutely decimated at the moment. Do you think they'll survive?
I'm hoping they do. I'm really, really hoping that they do. And it's really, really hard for all businesses now, especially smaller business, because they're not getting the support from the government. They're not getting the grants that they were promised. Since October, I don't think any businesses have got grants, not that I'm aware of. And from the feedback that I'm getting from a lot of businesses, gyms, hairdressers, a lot of businesses are saying the same thing. They've got no help from the government. And that's a massive problem for us. They need to stand up and actually help the smaller businesses to survive and stay alive. So when the lockdown is over, we have something to go back to. We may be in debt from it, but we have something to go back to. If they don't help us, more and more businesses are going to fall.
Absolutely. And it's also the same, I believe, for like people paying their mortgages, and people, you know, in business, they have to pay leases, rent, rates, all of these things. Still, you know, as many a person has a good, decent landlord, I suppose, who'll say to them, listen, until this is over. And I've heard of people like this, they'll say, listen, suspend your rent or your pay. But so many others I've heard of are saying, no, the landlord just says I have to keep paying. So, you know, that's it.
But then that landlords have mortgages on their premises that they have to pay to the banks. So when they're put under pressure, obviously they're going to pass that on to whoever they've leased their premises to. And that's understandable.
And how does it make you feel when you hear that the politicians are apparently seeking pay rises and are being granted pay rises?
Yeah, it absolutely infuriates me that they can get, pay rises, and we're just asking for a little bit of help. I mean, even if they just pay people's rent, that would even go, so far if they were to do something like that. You know, all it is give us a bit of help.
Or even make a declaration to the banks to say, all banks, you're not getting any rent. Anyone mortgaged with a commercial property, you're not, sorry, there's a pandemic apparently, so freeze them. Sorry, you want to do business in Ireland in future? Well, there's the price. If we're going to suffer the pandemic, why should the banks not suffer the pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, my thing is to the government is please do more and try and help.
Let me bring Ben back in there. Ben, do you want to throw anything in here just before we go? I don't mean to rush you. I'm just saying. Just wait till he's unmuted there. No, we still can't hear you. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can hear me now. So, I just want to say, Christine, you're right. Landlords are in trouble as well because banks are putting pressure on them. But it's not just business owners. There's people who can't go to work as well. They don't have a business premises and they can't pay their mortgage because of this. So this is going to lead to one huge depression again for everybody. Apart from businesses that can't open, It'll lead to a raft of evictions again. So the eviction courts will be busy now for the next 10 years with little or no help. No help, because we're used to this from the last 10 years, but there was absolutely no help given. So it's worrying times, no matter what happens from now on, because they can't repair that damage.
Ben, can I just put something to you, just directly in relation to Article 41.11? I believe you were having and I don't want anyone's name here, but I believe you were talking to some people of the legal fraternity, and they didn't seem to have a grasp on the meaning or the significance of that particular article. Because
it just seems that in law school, I'm not sure what way they're taught. I tried to explain to them that it was to be a very open interpretation, and not to be read in a legalistic way. But reading it in a legalistic way or an open way or a liberal way, it doesn't matter. The words to me are very clear. It basically just says that the family have certain rights and they're inalienable, which means can't be taken away. Imprescriptible can't be written away, and they're antecedent, from time immemorial, and that the Constitution is not giving the rights, but you actually recognize that you possess those rights, and they're superior to positive law. Now, somebody then put up a comment today, because what the barristers and solicitors were saying to me during a discussion was, but you have to challenge that legislation. Right. And I'm saying, no, because they're saying you have to prove the legislation is unconstitutional. And I'm saying, no, let's say for the moment that the legislation is absolutely constitutional. I'm just saying that those family rights are superior.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah, so I'm saying the family rights are superior to that constitutional positive law. And so I think then the penny started to drop. Now, somebody on a comment say today, then, if this woman has those constitutional rights, why was she arrested? Well, there was a man that used to teach me law in America, and he used to always say, there's nothing worse than ignorance in action. And that's what we saw today, ignorance in action. People didn't understand your rights. Now, if it is a thing, and myself and Vincent often discuss this, if it is a thing, Christine, that you as a family, or me as a family, or Vin as a family, or any family in Ireland does not possess rights that are superior to positive law, then why is that article in the Constitution? And if we're right that the article's in the Constitution for a particular reason, then what are the rights that are superior to the positive law?
Well, not only that, Ben. I mean, and I'd put this out there as a challenge to the solicitors and barristers or whomever is out there to please inform me exactly what section or what part of positive law do we have inalienable, imprescriptible rights, antecedent and superior to? Because if there's not one article they can mention, why not?
Yeah,
because then, as you say, what was that? Now, that article, many people may not notice, that article was brought into the Constitution from the religious fraternity. I haven't got his name off the top of my head, but I do know it. And it wasn't so much so to, essentially, it was to prevent communism coming about in Ireland. That's essentially where it was from. That the church at the time recognized the dangers of communism. And I mean, this is not a religious perspective here, folks, but this is just what they recognized. And that essentially from the writings and what I've read is that essentially this is in there to be kind of like the ultimate ace card for we the people. That's what this is supposed to be. This is the trump card. I don't mean from Donald J. Trump. I mean Trump as in top trumps. This is supposed to be our trump card that, to prevent us suffering tyranny.
Yeah. And of course, Vincent, a lot of those laws came from what was, as you say, the religious fraternity, were ecclesiastical laws. The same with defamation. Defamation was from ecclesiastical because of, that it was against the man or the person and the family as well. So, look, exactly. What I found very interesting on all of this, Christine, was that you got so much media attention from this in so many newspapers, and yet nobody quoted Article 41.11, which I found astounding. So it's like that the state media, the Guardian and everybody else don't want the people to know what was Article 41. So while they quoted you on your constitutional rights, nobody actually quoted the section, which I found astounding. Because if they actually quoted the section, it would have proved you were absolutely right.
and let it be known that these are fundamental rights.
Yeah.
Ben, just before we finish up, I just want to get last word from Christine, if that's okay. It's 6:15 nearly, and I'm going to go have my dinner, the same as everybody watching. I'm assuming you have to put the spuds on too. So, Christine, if what is it that you'd like to finish up with, please, if that's okay?
I would just like to thank everybody for their support. And yeah, that's the main thing, is to thank everybody that has supported me through the last couple of days. They've been absolutely amazing.
And Christine,
I'm very, very grateful.
Finally, just from me, I want to say fair play to you. And I'm saying that on behalf of everyone in Ireland for standing up. You've led the way, you've shown people. And as I said to you last night, that getting arrested, it's not a bad experience, because in fairness, the Gardaí, anytime I've ever been arrested, have treated me with respect, dignity, made me tea when I wanted. And I want to say that because so many Gardaí, they don't know if they're coming or going with all these bloody legislations coming anyway, and they're not properly taught about the Constitution or what the actual difference is between the positive law and 41.11. So I understand there's great difficulty there, but when push comes to shove, even when they do the wrong thing and they arrest us, I have to say they always treat us with dignity and respect and everything like that. So if we can just get back to where we should be to stop arresting us when we're exercising our rights, that would be terrific.
Exactly.
So on behalf of Ireland, and further afield, Christine, I too get messages. Who's this brave little woman, even from England and Canada as well? So on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you. And, you know, I'm going to tell someone a funny story, that you were not concerned about being arrested or being jailed. Tell them what really concerns you.
Reading the statements. Reading in front of cameras. Yeah.
So that was the funny thing, when News Talk was there, that your only concern, you weren't worried about anything else. Arresting didn't faze you, going to jail didn't faze you. What fazed you was reading out your statement.
Yeah.
Fair play. That's the mark of the woman you are.
Like the rest of us. That's all that shows. You're human like the rest of us. Well, listen, folks, I think that's great. I want to say thank you very much to Ben and to
Christine.
Thank you, guys.
All the people who showed up to support. And don't forget, there is a GoFundMe, folks. It's to support the family. That's what it's for, to support the family. Christina's business is going to have to stay closed now until court dates and all of that as sorts this out. She was clearly in trouble, and I'm not trying to embarrass you here, Christine, but clearly you were in trouble, which is why you got to that point, and you were feeling the stress, the strain. Well, I think this woman was brave enough to step forward, folks. She was brave enough to make a public statement and to do something and then carry it through. She deserves this. She deserves your support. And she's earned it, and I intend on donating, and it's to help the family. Okay, so let's make that absolutely clear. That's what this is for, to help the family. Christine, I want to say, thanks very much, and
thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody.